What is life asking of us? You know, I guess it could be asking for us to show up. Because I kind of like see how, there's trends. And within these trends, they're expressed in so many different ways. And one of those like trends within not just subject to something like bhakti yoga or, any other, righteous tradition. But one of the trends within, I guess for your energetic development is service, right? So within that service, like life is always asking us to serve however we perceive it, interpret it, or like, stray away from it as that energy, ideal and notion is kind of like within us. But are we responding to that notion of energy, of service? So, in order to serve anybody else, we have to serve ourselves first. So within us serving ourselves, it's like a teeter-totter, Maybe we might be over-serving ourselves. And when we're over-serving ourselves within a bigger picture, aside from just the subject fragmented material reality, the energy of the quote-unquote universe, end quote, will pull from us in certain like subtle ways in how we need to serve the bigger picture, regardless of our like level of stubbornality or our rigidity. Because within the movement and the momentum of the universe and life itself, there's some duty that needs to be upheld regardless of how we're interpreting it or perceiving it. And that's what we particularly on a natural level need to maintain is this like notion of service. So what is service really asking of us? It's asking us to, it has to deal with people, it has to deal with relationships, but we can't necessarily deal with people and relationships if we don't know ourselves. So there's a balance that needs to be maintained in how we have to serve ourselves to serve others. And when we serve others, then we could serve ourselves. But like sometimes life shakes us out of certain orders for like maybe just to find ourselves. It's like sometimes like, chaotic moments have to happen in our life because there's a certain aspect or angle of ourselves where we're not serving ourselves. So maybe we experience chaos because somewhere the universe is asking us to serve ourselves. But obviously, that could be like, over amplified with serving oneself, over amplified to the point where it's not necessarily good or bad, but like eventually when you serve yourself too much, there's going to be like an energetic pool and an energetic need where you're going to have to go out to serve others. So what is life asking from us? It's to see how we could serve, the people around us aside from, the detrimental and non-detrimental dualities of life. So how could we serve others? It's like, providing real-time support, authentic support, being authentic with your word, being authentic with your trends and your hype, being authentic with, the technology. That's like, there's different components with service to others, service to the tribe. And we can't necessarily be on par with the tribe until we take care of ourselves, our emotional needs, and our emotional intelligence. And there was a different unique point I wanted to bring up about emotional intelligence too, of like, just like it being like its own lane, it being its own lane of like, we need emotional intelligence for boundaries. And we need, or more specifically, we need emotional intelligence for just general protection. And because like once we have that real grounded self-love, then we could know what to like stand for, what to uphold, So that's the service. That's the quote unquote proper service of balance. That's the balance of service, is you realizing why life could be doing what it's doing so you could serve yourself. Because like within, the order of life and how we have to serve others, life will shake that in different ways. And naturally we're going to go out of the order to like for life to test our improbability, because we have to improv in life. And then within, the crashing and the receding of the wave of life itself, after, life has, experimented and tested with us on how we could improv, then we could revert back to the different types of order that there is. And then, the color and the abstractality of life and the colorfulness of life and the bleakness and the black and whiteness of life is where the order spits us back out, and where we are like kind of like forced to have an improv, the different types of chaos that we could settle more or less, or like it just kind of wash us over more or less, and all of them having their own, different levels of magnitude and amplification respectively. Because it seems like, no matter what, no matter how much chaos there is in the universe, it seems like within some deep ass level there's a big ass preservability factor to it, So how to serve others, I think it's also just like, listening to them, supporting them, being a team player, being authentic, serving yourself by you practicing emotional intelligence. So then you could like, be protected within the chaos of the external world respectively. And obviously I'll probably do a different video because there's another point that wants to be emerged with that. But yeah, so like why is it that life could bring us chaotic moments? Maybe it's just like for like a mature neutral understanding of what service could mean, and on a low-key level how we're always being served as well, because we're always being supplied oxygen, we're always being supplied the warmth of the sun, we're always being supplied to some degree like, healthy water within our body, we're always being supplied, by having that earth element of like being, homeostatic or homeostasistical within how we get to like be sensible and grounded in our nervous system. Thank you guys.